I like Brunson. I like
Nice.
the way, he's so shifty, man. Like his footwork is incredible.
Insane.
The fact that he can post you up and still score against bigger guards and manage his way in the lane and get his shot off, not being as athletic as the other guys is incredible.
Yo, who's the New York Knicks GOAT? We're almost at that point. Jalen Brunson isn't just playing basketball in New York. He's composing a symphony of grit, leadership, clutch performances that echoes through Madison Square Garden on a night in and night out basis. He arrived in 2022 with a modest contract. Everybody actually was saying that was an overpay, but now it's a certified bargain. He has a chip on his shoulder and an underestimated aura of a player who knew exactly what he was capable of. Since then, though, the man has improved every season, become not just the face of the New York Knicks, but the heart, the soul, and the mother flipping engine. But when we start talking about who's the GOAT, who's the greatest Knick of all time, we're moving into rarefied air. Because people are going to start talking about the chips. The franchise has had stars, has had champions, legends whose impact goes beyond stat sheets and into the realm of myth. Walt Clyde Frazier, Patrick Ewing, Willis Reed, Bernard King, even the newer icons, I'll give him the tip of the cap, Carmelo Anthony. Jalen Brunson, as of 2025, is firmly on the path to being an all-time New York Knicks fan favorite. But how many more years does he need? And what else must he achieve to break into the GOAT conversation? That's what I want to talk about today. Because the man on this run in the playoffs, up 2-0 against the Boston mother flipping Celtics, is hitting GOAT level moments. I want to talk about that. Jalen Brunson is emerging in that mythical conversation. And I want to look at it in terms of a few areas that I think would damn near put him there. But let's start it with the number one question. What makes a New York Knicks GOAT? To even entertain the idea of someone being the greatest Knick of all time, there's some general criteria that almost every candidate has to meet in order to get that label. One, you got to have longevity and loyalty. Knicks fans, we're fiercely loyal and we demand the same from our stars. Patrick Ewing played 15 seasons in New York. Walt Frazier played 10 elite seasons before his stint in Cleveland. Carmelo Anthony gave the Knicks 7 seasons of scoring glory. To be the GOAT, though, you can't be a flash in the pan. Brunson is going to need at least 7 to 10 years of elite production in New York. I think the next thing that you look at the individual greatness. We're talking multiple All-Star selections, all NBA nods, historic scoring nights, and moments that define a generation. Jalen Brunson is already starting to check that box. I think another thing you got to look at is playoff success. And hopefully we're in that moment now. Willis Reed limping onto the court in the 1970 finals more than they remember any single stat. They remember that. Playoff legend building is critical. Winning matters, especially in Madison Square Garden. Deep playoff runs and ideally a championship are essential for GOAT status. And also I think another thing you got to look at is the cultural impact and identity. Clyde was cool, Ewing was fierce, Reed was tough, Melo was smooth. The GOAT has to embody New York. And Brunson's gritty, fearless, blue-collar game, that screams New York. It screams New York. So I think so far Brunson's case is between 2022 and 2025. So let's take stock of what Jalen Brunson has already done. In terms of his career highs every season, points, assists, usage, it's all steadily climbing. He's already had multiple 40-plus point playoff games, including the iconic 47-point masterpiece versus the Cavs in 2023. His leadership is unquestioned. He's universally respected in a locker room. Players follow his lead, coaches trust him, and the Garden believes in him. But the man is a big game killer. Whether it's game 1 against Donovan Mitchell to outdueling Tyrese Halliburton in 2024, Jalen Brunson shows up when it matters the most. And he also has been receiving All-NBA recognition. As of 2025, Brunson is a borderline first or second team All-NBA player, and he's the clutch player of the year. But more importantly, he's the face of our franchise. No player since Patrick Ewing has had this essential of an impact on the New York Knicks identity. And while that's impressive, the Knicks' all-time bar is sky high. So we got to ask ourselves, in terms of Jalen Brunson, what's next? What would the road to the GOAT look like? What must Brunson still accomplish? I know we talked about longevity. At least 5 to 6 more elite seasons are needed. To be in the GOAT conversation, Jalen Brunson needs to be the consistent heartbeat of the Knicks for at least a decade. He got to be killing other teams. They got to hate him like we hated Jordan. So that means 7 to 10 years of 20 plus points per game, 6 plus assists per game averages. Maybe multiple 70 plus game seasons. Health and availability, it matters. I think he has to make a continued improvement as a floor general and as a decision maker. And if Brunson finishes his Knicks career with 18,000 to 20,000 points, 6,000 plus assists, and leads the franchise in clutch shots, his stat sheet alone will force the conversation. But what we're looking at is this year, a championship or a finals run. Nothing cements greatness like winning. Brunson doesn't need multiple championships to be the Knicks GOAT. After all, ask Patrick Ewing. He never won one. But one championship equals automatic entrance into the Pantheon. 2 NBA Finals appearances equal validated legacy. Eastern Conference Finals run, rare air. A 2025 Knicks squad featuring Brunson, Towns, Anunoby, Bridges, Hart. We're on track to make that leap. But if Brunson leads them to a title, flippers will be tripping. He immediately jumps past everyone except Reed and Frazier, whose 2 titles. If he gets that, then that begins that conversation. But franchise records and milestones, Brunson doesn't need to break every New York Knicks record. But key milestones do help. So if he's top 5 all-time in Knicks points, you got Ewing, who's number 1 with 23,600 something. Or if he's top 5 in assists, Mark Jackson is number 1 at 4,005, I think. Most playoff points in franchise history, Ewing currently leads. If he gets most 40-point playoff games, he's already climbing that list and climbing it fast. These are intangible but undeniable marks of greatness. If he starts to look at, and he is, individual awards, MVP consideration, MVP, if he can get in the top 5 or top 3, he doesn't have to win it, but if he can get in the top 5 or top 3, then it shifts the public perception dramatically about him. All NBA teams, they matter as well. To get multiple first or second team selections would help his resume. And all-star appearances, he's already on that path. But he'll need at least 5. And he gets bonus points if he's a starter or he gets MVP buzz in an all-star game. But what I love now, that's really making us look at him as a superstar, is he's having mythical moments. Stats are great, but Brunson is going to need magic moments in the playoff, kinds of moments that become murals and MSG promos for decades. A game winner over Boston in a playoff game, a closeout fourth game, a 50-pointer in the Garden, a Finals MVP performance against the Lakers or the Minnesota Timberwolves, a comeback win in a series down 3-1. Those are the type of things that turn stars into legends. Knicks fans still talk about Reed's limp and Larry Johnson's 4-point play. Brunson needs his defining MSG myth moment. And then we'll just talk about like where he stands compared to the other New York Knicks greats. Patrick Ewing is my guy. But Patrick Ewing is an 11-time All-Star, franchise leader in nearly every statistical category. He's carried the Knicks to 2 finals appearances. No championship, but he had years of playoff consistency. Brunson does need more seasons, more statistical output, a title to even compete with Pat. If we're looking at Walt Frazier, he's a 2-time NBA champion. The man is a style icon, defensive menace, offensive maestro, had a signature final performance. The man had his own shoe. Brunson needs at least 1 ring and a finals MVP caliber performance to catch Clyde. We're talking about Willis Reed. We're talking about a 2-time champion, baby. We're talking about a 1970s final MVP, an emotional leader of the most beloved Knicks team ever. Brunson needs a Willis Reed moment plus a championship. And then lastly, you're looking at Carmelo Anthony. 7 seasons in New York, 3-time All-NBA scoring champ, but no playoff success beyond 2013. I think Brunson has already had more playoff success than Melo. If he adds 2 or 3 more years of All-NBA play and the deep finals run this year, he's damn sure going to be considered ahead of Melo. Then we even look at Bernard King. I love the fact that Bernard King could be found at every game. Bernard was an absolute bucket, but his career was cut short by injuries. But the man had a legendary playoff run in '84. Brunson's durability and leadership give him an edge, though, long term. So how many more years would it take for Brunson to really be considered in that GOAT category or conversation? The realistic path looks something like this, though. I think by 2026, if he has an All-NBA season conference finals appearance, 27-28, if we get to the finals by that time, and Brunson's still the number 1 option, by 2029, if he's in his 7th season as a Knick and he's led the team in major categories such as signature playoff moments, I think that counts. 2030 is a while from now, but multiple championships I think would cement his legacy if he retires a Knick. All of that being said, 5 or 6 more years, a final run, preferably 1 championship. I think that's what it would take. It's a high bar, yes, but with Brunson's trajectory at this moment, it's possible. It's possible. But honestly speaking, I think he might already be the GOAT. I'm sorry, I think he might already be the GOAT. There's also something else that's happening. I think something harder to quantify. Jalen Brunson is connected with the fans in a way few players ever do. The man is a humble assassin. He works, he leads, he doesn't flinch. He wants to be a Knick. In an era where stars change teams every offseason, in an era where a lot of these stars today, they looked up to LeBron James. He brings rare commodities. He's hungry. He's not chasing legacy, but he's building one with every floater, every fourth quarter dagger, every post-game presser where he says, we just got to keep working. That is the energy of New York. I'm going to kill you and I'm going to remind you. If he retires a Knick, even without winning a title, there's a real chance that the fans will say he's the one that brought us back. He made us believe again. That's Jalen Brunson. To me, I think he's already on the borderline of the GOAT conversation, simply for his energy and what he's done in a short period of time. Jalen Brunson's journey from Villanova role player to New York basketball royalty is already one of the most inspiring arcs in recent New York Knicks history. He's not just rising, he's elevating the franchise with him, bringing us respectability across the league. But to become the greatest Knick of all time, though, I think he's going to have to stay in New York. Don't leave, bruh. Keep building. Win a championship. Because 1 ring in New York, vaults him into the elite tier in the NBA. He's already going to show playoff greatness. I think he's going to start stacking historical moments in the MSG. And he has to dominate the playbooks. But the man already owns the city. From the D train to the Upper West Side, the man is the people's champ. He's the people's champ. And the throne isn't far away. And if anyone in this era of basketball was built to wear a Knicks crown, it's Jalen mother flipping Brunson, bruh. It's Jalen mother flipping Brunson. And the championship, man, if he does it, conversation is going to change from can he be the GOAT to is he already? What say you? Keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. But remember this, whether it's out there in the real world or here in these YouTube streets, here at Knicks Deli, everybody eats. I'm your boy Shia, and I'm out. Peace.